Okay, this is Milestone 2 for this level. This week was mainly the actual enemies, adding them in, and making sure we had a proper loadout, which is here. It comes with this bow, some ammo, as you can see there, and bait. I did also include couple of medkits and the grapple, wingsuit, parachute, and the binoculars, just in case. The grapple is a required thing to get up here. As this was changed, it was originally a path. I put it to a grapple spot now. And I added some of these ropes at the bottom, along with the pattern on the wall, just to help you see, since it is rather large. Plus, naturally, you'll see it later on, these grapple points have a little symbol if you look at them, so I figured doing this route would be enough to draw your eye to it, but not too much where it's overbearing considering it literally tells you. The wingsuit is for if you're up here, so say you've climbed all the way up to the boss cave, instead of having to grapple back down, you can just wingsuit down. There are 5 wolves in the cave. This one here is the boss. I changed the level from an assault to a bounty hunt. That's why all of them have this little symbol above their heads, because they can be marked right here. That was one of the issues I had, because I was wondering how I tell it, because there is a counter in the top left that will say, oh, 0 out of 10 enemies. And I wasn't quite sure how to mark them until afterwards. Over here, there is a pistol, and over in the cave that you saw, as shown by that little symbol right there, is a shotgun right by this waterfall. During playtesting, the only two main things I got off of that was being able to change the controls, which I do not believe is possible in this one, probably for uniform's sake, and a bigger boss. So even though next week is technically a break, I will be moving forward to working on the environmental storytelling, and I might end up adding a boss, because this cave is rather large. So if I put a floor here-ish, I could support something up there. I was actually thinking of either working with the Yetis a little, as the 4th game did feature a DLC that had them as enemies, but I wasn't sure if that would be too much, so I'll test that later. If that doesn't work out, it'll probably be a bear, because there was an incident during just going over when I was testing myself, and a random bear had just spawned here for some reason. I have no clue where it came from, because I've never spawned a bear in this area, but we work with what we get, I suppose. Over here, I did add a bundle of arrows. Everything will look better later on. I just wanted to make sure I had the core stuff, because what's the sense in decorating a ton and then you find out, well, didn't need that, or, well, that doesn't work. This glowing box that you see, since it's a bounty hunt, this is the extraction point. So if you did go, let's say you go down here, you fight these guys, go in there, and you climb up and you fight them, you could wingsuit straight down here. If you did it the other way, where you went up here instead, you could just wingsuit and to this building here. All enemies show up on the compass, which you'll see in a moment. I just wanted to be sure that you could see them if that was, that occurred. There is, as I said, just the one loadout. I had to rename these because it wouldn't let me note this as a valid level, because all of these said empty, and even though they were empty, they counted as basically being, like, they were duplicate names, and it was freaking out, so I did change that. But, as you can see, they're over here. I do have the binoculars, as I said before. There's one in the house. They do scatter. Sometimes they attack, and sometimes they scatter. I notice their behavior seems everywhere. They do have their own little territory spots. Those blue boxes you saw, those are for just to give them a space to go. I did block off, I'll show you in a second, I blocked off everywhere except the area past the camp. I blocked off everything besides that spot, so they can go up there, but I figured it wasn't as bad as being able to just go off into the rest of the map, so I just let it be. Plus, it wasn't too much of a difference in terms of movement. So you can see one of them over there. This spot underneath, if you're wondering, I wasn't sure if I wanted to add anything. At this point, I left it as it is, but I might end up adding something there, something extra, perhaps. In the regular game, that's probably where you'd put boards, and then you would have like a chest. Usually they had money in them in some of the other games. The 6th game, they had weapons in them. I do not believe that is a feature in this one, because, you know, obviously this one came before that one, but it is an option. As you can see, one of them has decided to go up there. I won't go after all of them, as this level does take about 5 to 10 minutes, and no sense in wasting time with other things when you can see the main stuff, of course. There was a little incident up here to the left of the cave. There was a hole of some kind, which was odd, but that's been fixed. I lowered the walls a little so there isn't as much of a crack underneath. Here's everybody. They can't get out of here. This lip here prevents it, and that was done on purpose. If this was a proper one from the main game, this would probably close and you'd be stuck in here. But you gotta work with what you got, of course. Oh look, they're actually coming this time. Sometimes they do and sometimes they do not. There's actually 3 med kits on the first grapple you go up. They're right there as a way, so just in case you needed extras. This happens as well, where they just pop in another one. I believe it's probably a system to make sure you're not out of luck, because with this game, normally you can pick up weapons. So say if you fought an enemy and they dropped an AK, you could pick up that AK and put it in your loadout. It would probably appear here because this one's empty, or it'd appear here if this was the gun in your hands, which is fine, but that doesn't actually apply in this particular level. As you can see on the compass, look, he's here, but the other one, he's around somewhere hanging out. I'm sure we'll see him in a moment. Like this. And yes, you can run straight into a tree. That is a thing. Always has been. If you go over here, so you can choose your route. There is no forced route. If you wanted to go up to the cave, go right ahead. Be my guest. Oh, there is. They like this area, this upper one. I do believe it's a internal thing for them. There's not generally this many enemies in animal terms normally, but if you go right here, boom, you could restart or leave or whatever you need to do. Other than that, I'll show you the blockings. So I blocked these because they were running off into this upper area, and I didn't want them to run off into the abyss, because this is the Snow Templar level. I just carved out a spot in this corner here. There's this whole thing, and I did not want them to potentially get out of this area. I did add more trees here, just give them something to go towards, break line of sight with them and such. I did mention the bait. You can throw the bait, and they will go around. It is kind of fidgety because bait in these games are generally all over the place. As you can see, this one ran right up to it, but these two didn't care. But it was intended as if you wanted to try to be stealthier, perhaps, try to, back off. I did provide the binoculars just so you could basically plot out your route. As you can see, you can set up priority targets on them and it'll number them. You can set up waypoints. So if you thought to yourself, hey, I want to go here off to this corner, so you loop around, you could do that for yourself. You can also toggle the interface off if you so wish. Other than that, I didn't really have very many issues with this one. The playtest went pretty smooth, and the just general, it worked fine. Other than that, I will see you all in the next one.